Hello everyone, welcome back to a new Hana series video. This time is Q1. We're going to be creating a master inspection characteristic. You can see the specific video for that as a master data, but here we're going to be reviewing this just as a business process, okay? I mean, it's a typical process for the laboratory to create new master inspection characteristics when there is a new product, for example. No, every time there is a product introduction, you might need to be creating new characteristics if they're not already defined. There are different approach to create this, but QS21, let me just start in SAP QS21. I was saying there is a couple of options or more probably, which is basically if you want to have master inspection characteristics more generic that you can reuse for multiple products, or you can create specific master inspection characteristics based on group of products or products that share the similar um, characteristics, let's say. Okay, and it's up to you, it's up to the company, of course. The more specific, it's the more control that you can have, and when less specific, you're losing kind of control. Okay, because it's plant specific, then the plant can do changes, and you don't have necessarily a product uniformity. But again, it's part of the business definition, right? Depending on the company policy, and if there is a product uniformity global policy, then you need to focus on more specific master inspection characteristic. Considering the naming convention, we can have multiple choices, of course. One of them could be just a numeric value, right? A unique value, because the length of the field is not long enough as we cannot put the real description of the master inspection characteristic. Okay, we will do that in the short test or long test, but in here we can put just a kind of a naming convention. Okay, you can use numeric, you can use QN, for example, for quantitative, QL for qualitative, or you can use for example, kind of minimum description. Okay, so let me start with just kind of a MIC, in this case, NIT for nitrogen. Okay, in this case, I need to create a nitrogen. Let me just show you here. Yeah, nitrogen content. Let me copy that as a description as well. And then when you have that, you can press enter to start, or you can use a template, another characteristic where you can copy this from. Okay. This time we're going to be creating from scratch. Okay. Just filling out these three fields. We can just press enter, and we have the first screen here. In the first screen, we have to the side. We can use preset indicators that will help us a lot, but I just want to show you a little bit of a few things, even though we're not going to be going through all the details because you can see them in the specific video for that. Okay. In this case, this would be quantitative. Okay. We click there. Then the status. We can leave this as being created. If there is any process review, right? But if there is no process review and you are the person that is actually creating it, well, you can just put released already, right? Here comes the situation I was talking about before, okay? This is kind of a tricky, but once you decide what to do with this, you normally has to stick to this procedures, let's say, okay? Creating a reference means that you will have the same characteristics in all the plants that they are using these characteristics. Okay, this is more aligned with the more product specific or group of product specific characteristics. Okay, so if you need to do a change, you can do the change globally. Okay, you changed in one plant, which is kind of a, you can consider a corporate plant or main plant. Okay, and everyone else that is using this characteristic reference will have a change as well, okay, in the specs, for example. So the other one, the complete copy model, is basically when you can copy that one, right? And you are not planning to do changes, but you still have kind of a copy of the original one. Therefore, it will not be changed even though there is a reference that is changing. Okay, so in other words, there is no reference. It's just a copy from the first time, and then it's yours. It's in your plant. Okay. However, when we go to this one, incomplete copy model, we can copy the characteristic, but without all the parameters. Okay. So the final parameters, such as, for example, specifications, right, or ranges of the certain characteristics, can be set up at the time when you are creating an inspection plan or the master inspection characteristic, if it's a characteristic for the in-process, okay, inspection. I mean, so in this case, let's use the complete copy model. Okay, and let me put the description. And the search field, normally you put the same. This will be turned into uppercase, okay, typically automatically, because that's the idea of searching, to avoid any issues with the lower and uppercase letters. So once we have defined this, and we said already that it's released, it's a complete copy model, and we said it is quantitative, we can click on the control indicators to go and give the details, or we can just press enter. If we press enter, we will go here anyway, okay? Because that's the next step anyway. So we will define here, in our case, we know we have a lower limit, which is 14.5, and we know we have an upper limit, which is 15.5. So we will select both. We will require a sample procedure, okay? And it's nothing else, I think, here. No, nothing else. It's not extractive. It's a summary recording. We will check this in other videos for functionalities when we need to put single results and we have more than one sample, for example. We will need to put the single results. In this case, we will put just summary recording in general, and the characteristic will be required. Okay, it's not an optional. It's not depending on the event. Okay, it's required. And what else? No, nothing else here. Let's go to the second window. Okay. The default will be fixed scope. Okay. In another functionalities, we will see what we can do with this if we have many samples, right? And we will just put fixed scope or smaller scope or larger scope, etc. Okay. Or not fixed means we can add as many samples as we want, many results as well. Okay. For some reason. Okay, there are different functionalities that can be used for this. The documentation, well, sometimes you put the documentation if rejected. So there is the pop-up, you can type in a few comments regarding this failure or the issue with the inspection. Then we have basically nothing else here. Yeah, this is already set up. Okay, we can keep it. It's important. It's record measure values. Okay, it's expecting to put some values, and the probably we will set up also we will set the results recording change document. It means if there is a change in the results, okay, the system will keep track of that change. Okay. Then this is print and no formula in this case. There are some functionalities we will use when we need to calculate the value, okay? But in this case, it's no formula. No tolerance key here. Okay, so basically we have the nitrogen content with 1 decimal because we said it's 14.5. So we will set as 1 decimal. It's a percentage. Okay, we can choose or type percentage, and we can use the minimum and the upper limit or lower limit here, right? And the upper limit or maximum, which is 15.5. So it's 0.5 here. Excellent. And that's it. We set up the range, okay? We're setting up the range because this is a complete copy model, okay? If we're putting an incomplete, we don't need to put any range here because that will be finished during the usage of this master inspection characteristics, for example, in a master recipe or an inspection plan. Okay, another thing I want to mention here is the languages. Okay, since there are some content that depends on the language key, okay, we might need to translate. Okay, we need to translate the short text. So, for example, in this case, let's do this as an example in Spanish. Español, contenido de nitrógeno. I already have this one here. So this is important because otherwise, when you're logged in Spanish, for example, and you don't have anything here, you might see some blank values. Okay, so in order to get the right documents with everything printed on it, you need to translate if we're going to use other languages. Some companies are using just English. In those cases, you don't need to worry about translating, but keep in mind that for QM characteristics, for example, the same happens for other things like catalogs. We will see that as well. We need to translate, okay? If we are trying to use different languages in the system. Okay, so let me just accept this. And we have maintained, as you can see here, you can see what you already maintain, okay? We maintain quantitative data in the languages, which is for this. It's released. So that's it. That's it. We finish our master inspection characteristic. We can just save it. And the characteristic has been saved for a specific date. Keep in mind that if we go and we try to use this for yesterday, let's say, the characteristic does not exist, okay? Because it has a validity period, okay? Starting from today. When you are doing this for a project, for example, you normally define the starting of the month, okay, to avoid any conflict with the usage of this, okay? If you're creating an inspection plan for the start of a month, you should have this valid for the start of the month as well, okay? So it's important the consistency on that when you define migration, for example, okay? But when it's no, the same thing is if you're going to plan a new product introduction, for example, you define a date and you do all the master data related to that date to avoid any inconsistency. Also valid for production planning, for example. Okay, excellent. Okay, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please give a like, share. You can also subscribe to the channel, and please leave any comments or questions in the comments section below. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.